There's a moment that many smart people know too well. You're sitting in a room, maybe with friends, maybe at work, and people are talking fast, jumping from one idea to another, filling the air with noise. You have something to say? In fact, you've been thinking deeply about it, but something holds you back. You pause for too long. The topic changes, and once again you stay silent. Not because you're scared, not because you don't know what to say. Tired of not being heard? Because you know that's saying something too real, too honest, too slow. Doesn't really fit in a loud world. People often get it wrong. They think that quiet means shy. Silence means you're not smart or that you don't care. But the truth is, many quiet people care too much. Their minds are always moving, picking up small details, reading the room, thinking before speaking. It's not that they have nothing to say, it's that they're trying to say it right. And by the time they've found the right words, the moment has passed. So they keep it inside. Not because they want to, but because they've learned that most people don't wait long enough to hear what really matters. We live in a time where being loud is often confused with being right. People post quick opinions online, shout over each other in arguments, and rush to respond before really understanding anything. The world moves fast. And the louder someone is, the more attention they seem to get. But deep thinkers, they don't move that way. They pause. They take time. They listen more than they speak. And in today's world, that kind of silence can look strange. But the truth is, it takes more strength to think deeply than to speak quickly. Still, in all the noise, quiet people often get overlooked. Even though their thoughts are the ones that last longer than any loud voice ever will, some people speak as soon as a thought pops into their head. But smart people, deep thinkers, don't work like that. Before they talk, they go through everything in their mind. They think about the meaning of their words. They think about how others might take it. They think about what it adds to the conversation or if it's even worth saying at all. And because of this, they often take too long to answer. People think they're being slow or distant, but in reality, their brain is going through every angle, every possibility. It's not that they can't talk, it's that they don't want to speak without thinking. And that kind of thinking doesn't always fit in a fast world. A lot of quiet people didn't start off quiet. They used to speak. They used to try. But over time, they learned that speaking the truth doesn't always go well. Maybe they were cut off. Maybe someone laughed at them. Maybe people said they were being too serious or too much, so they pulled back. They started keeping things to themselves. Because what's the point of speaking if no one really listens? Sometimes it's safer to stay quiet. Not because they're scared, but because they're tired. Tired of repeating themselves. Tired of being misunderstood. So silence becomes a wall. A way to protect their peace. Silence isn't always about fear or weakness. Sometimes it's a choice. A quiet kind of strength. Smart people use silence to watch, to learn, to see things others miss. While everyone else is busy talking, they're noticing things, the tone in someone's voice, the shift in a room, the little details that most people ignore. They don't jump to speak because they understand how powerful it is to listen. Silence lets them stay calm, helps them think clearly. It keeps them in control. And in a world where everyone is trying to be seen or heard, choosing silence can actually be the strongest thing a person can do. There's something important in the world. Forgets, loud isn't the same as smart, and fast isn't the same as wise. Quiet people might not speak all the time, but when they do, it often means something. They choose their words. They don't speak to win arguments or get attention. They speak to bring clarity, to calm the noise, to add real value. If more people listened the way quiet people do, maybe conversations would have more meaning. Maybe things wouldn't always be about being right or wrong. Sometimes silence can teach more than noise ever could. Sometimes just pausing is what opens the space for truth. So the next time someone stays quiet in a conversation, don't assume they have nothing to say. Maybe they've already thought about 10 things they could say, chose not to. Because they're weak, but because they understand the weight of words. In a world that moves too fast, where noise fills every second, choosing silence is almost like rebellion. Quiet way of saying, I won't play this game. Smart people don't stay silent because they're lost. They stay silent because they see too clearly. And sometimes, staying quiet is the only way to stay true to yourself. Being quiet can feel safe, but after a while, it can also start to hurt. Smart people often carry so many thoughts inside things they wish they could say, but don't. They might hold back their ideas, their feelings, even their pain. And that silence starts to feel heavy. It's not that they don't want to share. It's just that most of the time no one asks. Or when someone does ask, they don't really listen. So the quiet ones begin to feel invisible. They're in the room, but it's like their voice doesn't count. Over time, that makes them pull back even more. Not because they enjoy being quiet, but because they've learned that speaking doesn't always change anything. Okay.